Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Texas Instruments. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. Now, unfortunately, in the case of this chart, we are tracking quite a difficult structure from a long time frame perspective, because I do have like three equally valuable options to consider, because I could argue that this may be a series of 1-2 setups that have been forming in this area, and only now really we are developing the actual wave 3 to the upside, and in that case we could be looking for quite continued uptrend. Now, some corrections may be larger than others, but we would be looking for quite further extensions here within even this internal wave 3, and afterwards, continuation on and on. But I do also have to consider the other possibilities, which include developing a larger leading diagonal to the upside, within which I would consider this a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down here. This could be a third wave up. We then could be looking here at a fourth wave correction and a fifth wave that would be unfolding right now. And even in this case, in a fifth wave to the upside, I would still expect some further continuation, because in this fifth wave, I would be looking here at an ABC structure that could unfold, and we could still see at least a couple more highs, But I do have another option, because I could also consider that this isn't the wave 3 itself. This could be only the wave A of a larger wave 3. I could look at this as the wave B bottom, or even this one. Both could work out. But then I would again be looking here for a larger extension, still a 5-wave structure in all of these scenarios. And for now, I would like to still track the idea of a possible impulse developing in this area, where I will track at the moment the possibility of a wave C. I may add further in the future also the idea of a possible impulse, but based on how shallow and quick these retracements were, I do find it a bit unlikely for this to be a 1-2 setup, to be honest. Not a very likely interpretation in my opinion, just in general. Now, in this structure to the upside, what I am tracking is the idea of an impulse, as I mentioned, and within this impulse, I am looking here at a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down. This would be an internal wave 3 that has fulfilled possibly, but I do also need to consider the possibility of further extensions even within this wave 3, because I have no confirmation that we have topped yet, but a general area of support that I would be watching out for in this interpretation that we have here on the chart would be for support in the area between the $133.6 level all the way down to the $76 level. And within this idea, we have not yet reached any levels of support, and I am exploring a possible ABC pattern that could be unfolding and leading us into this larger area of support. So far, we seem to have a possible overshoot in this area. We do have a slightly higher high, but again, at this point, I don't have any confirmation that this is part of an ABC and not an extension in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because technically we could still push higher, and I can even provide you an alternative idea here that would allow us for such a pattern. And we can use, let's say, the blue interpretation and watch out for an even smaller support zone. This would be the first line of defense for the bullish case, and it would be between the $186 level all the way down to the $155 level at the 78.6% retracement. But for now, there still is a significant risk that this is part of a larger correction. Now, even if we push lower and we form here this ABC pattern and we bottom in this wave C, already having an overshoot would be an indication, an anticipation of the market for a very strong movement to the upside. So I do believe there is a very good chance that once we actually reach this area of support and we bottom in the wave 4, we may get quite an extended fifth wave to the upside. But even in the other scenario, where we find support here in a 1-2 setup, we are then expecting a very strong third wave to the upside, where if I'm not necessarily expecting a bottom to have formed at this point. I am considering, even within this correction in wave 2 in blue, still possible further continuation to the downside, but I suppose we could be looking for a possible target, yeah, an ideal target for a wave 3 based on the current low, which is at the 138.2% extension around the $300 level. Now, we won't really focus on that idea too much because honestly, there is still a very good chance we could be looking for additional lows, but realistically, this is already a very good 1-2 setup that we could use for continuation higher. If it fails, if we fall below the 78.6% retracement and sustain below, I would be watching out because the large correction in wave 4 is still a high possibility. And yeah, those scenarios are kind of close in probabilities, but after all, if we end up in the larger wave 4 support zone, it has even better chances that we push afterwards in this fifth wave to the upside. Now, if we end up falling even below the 50% retracement here, that would actually be quite a great warning sign, and I may need to consider an overall larger diagonal pattern unfolding in this area. But it is quite far away, and I don't think it is necessary for us to focus at this point. Just keep in mind, the wave B bottom could be here, and in that case, I would very likely need to consider here a possible diagonal structure, 1, 2, 3, where the wave 3 is already complete, and then the wave 4 could go even much lower. But honestly, this could even work as a 1-2 within an impulse. I could count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. That could work out, no problem. And yeah, then this could be a third wave itself, where we would still be looking for a 4-5 even after this internal structure that we are tracking is complete. And for now, we can look here at the shorter time frame, where in this correction, if it really is a wave 2, I would be expecting this to develop as something like a WXY, although I do have a bit of an issue with this interpretation because in the wave W, I am pretty much able, and I cannot really count otherwise, other than in a 5-wave structure, this movement to the downside. This is a pretty clear 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th. So it is in the small time frame, but it is a little questionable calling it a wave W, which is a bit of a warning sign that this may be within the larger structure here in yellow, in which case this could be a 1-2 setup. Then we have here another 1-2, then possibly a couple other 1-2 setups in this area, and we could already be in the third wave to the downside. So it is an area of high risk here on the shorter time frame in terms of the structure that it really has developed, but in the end it is in the shorter time frame. And I always tell you, don't trade the counts, trade the levels. And right now we are heading towards the lower areas, the lower bounds of this support zone for the blue interpretation. And what else I could say is that even if this is really a WXY, I could see something like an ABC within this wave Y to the downside, and in this wave C, something like a 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th and then a 5th that could take us to the 78.6% retracement. So what I would be watching out for internally here would be something like this. And let's change the degree here. And for resistance here in such a wave 4, I would be watching out for the area, and let's see, for a wave 4 between the $163 level all the way up to the $172 level. Now, if we manage to break above the 61.8% retracement, it would actually be a pretty good sign that we may have formed a local low, and that would actually apply even for the larger yellow scenario that would be tracking a wave C to the downside, because we would make it pretty much impossible for this to be a 1-2 setup, and it would clearly not be a third wave itself at that point. So yeah, breaking above the 61.8% retracement here would suggest a pretty considerable relief rally would be likely, if not a larger pattern such as the wave 3 that we would be tracking here in blue. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.